Yeah, it's not far, but still they say most accidents occur within a mile of your home.
Well,
I'm sorry. Oh, look, this is Jared.
So I'm not sure if he's gonna do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Was she coming up here? Yeah.
Would anyone like a agenda?
No, thank you. So hopefully, but it's hard to say.
It's very popular.
Granddaughter was swimming on Saturday.
Anybody else care for
Yes,
an
please.
agenda?
I'm doing well, how are you?
Thank you.
That's what we for
It's, you go past 180, and it's like,
Well, let's see how this sits. I don't know. Now I'm looking at it, it's kind of low.
I don't know what.
You can sit here.
I know what it is.
I thought you took care of that
No,
last
it's just like, it's way, it's only half a mile from my cloud gather.
meetings.
No, the planning board said they will take public forum. Selectmen staff.
Still, yep.
Do you know Stephanie? She's the one that's going to speak. Good.
Put myself on that one and taken care of it.
Oh.
I guess they were confused with the
It's about that, this 1800,
I'm right behind her now.
Okay.
there's some stuff on sale anymore.
Carolyn wants to sit by her.
I don't want to sit there. I have to hit it.
One car that went down your road and
You are?
The license plate, so now it's not one. No, that's loaded with
There's no one to come here. How far does it
So that's the showstoppers and. Go back and run more research. It has a list of
Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is to review the minutes from the January 15th meeting.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes as recorded.
Second.
All in favor? All right, we'll go right to guests. Teresa Montague is here to talk about broadband, I guess.
yeah. All right. Hi, my name is Teresa Montague. I live on Route 9 right by Pitt Hill, and I'm going to be running for the Maine State Legislature. Just thought I'd put that out there. And one of the things that's really important to me, and I think to our town, is the expansion of broadband. We are looking for all sorts of forms of revenue, and to be honest, the windmill is not the only game in town out there. Broadband expansion is incredibly integral to every citizen being able to participate in healthcare, in our safety, in our education, in our government process. There's really nothing that it's not now connected to. And so if every citizen in this nation really wants to be able to participate fully in the society, we have to have access to that. If you want to run your business, if you want to educate yourself at home, if you want to be able to access government and other safety issues, it's just extremely important. And so I was hoping to maybe drum up some enthusiasm to find out just exactly where broadband still goes. I know it's expanded in Clifton, but it doesn't come to my house. And just yesterday, I heard about a new website that's coming on called worldscienceview.com. A professor from New York City's Columbia University, big fancy physicist, has now got this website up and running, and you can get on there and learn layman's terms or get up to PhD level education from those kind of things. And that's not new. There's a bunch of other things out there that are like that. America's 27th in education right now. It's not because we're falling behind, because we're doing things differently. It's because we're not changing and we're not keeping up. And so the rest of the world is leapfrogging right over us. Maine is 49th in friendliness to businesses. We're 49th in economic growth, and we're 49th in broadband expansion. These things are all linked together. And I asked a friend of, sort of an acquaintance, to write a letter to the platform committee, the Democratic Platform Committee, which I'm on, because I wanted him to try to explain why it's important to Mainers that this is essential to us. So I won't read it verbatim, but I'm going to kind of go through here and highlight some of the reasons why it's important to all of us, even if you don't right now want a computer in your home. And by the way, there's a big difference between satellite services and broadband services, and how you can access that and how much information you can get. So to be honest, over a satellite system, you're limited and you cannot really access freely the amount of information that you want. And there's a bunch of stuff going on in the government that we have to be very careful about as well. For instance, the FCC is trying to protect the open internet and net neutrality so we can all access it and have affordability to it. But Verizon just wants some kind of case where they can do whatever they want, charge whatever they want. Comcast and Time Warner are talking about merging together, and those are the two big cable systems in our country. And if they merge together, there'll be a monopoly. And right now, in many states in our country, they've already arranged with those states to not allow any other businesses to expand or service those states. So they're creating a big, huge monopoly. The way to protect our FCC is to contact Susan Collins and Angus King and tell them that we need to protect the open internet and net neutrality, and probably reclassify the internet as a communication system instead of what it is now, sort of an entertainment kind of thing, because it is essential. And for Maine to survive now and in the future, we have to attract and support our younger workforce. If Maine doesn't have jobs, we won't have the younger workers to help support our tax base. And that's something we need here in our town. I just sold a piece of property in Cooper for very little, that's out in Washington County, because people don't want to move there. If they can't have access to the economy and to education and the things that they need in order to move ahead in this world, they don't move there. And this is something that our community really could use, are new people, new entrepreneurs, and Maine is famous for cottage industry, so getting more small businesses up and running here from our homes is really essential, and the internet allows that in so many ways. It's just insane. Our healthcare system and federal government are requiring that all health records be digitalized by 2014, and more consultations, diagnoses, and even some friggin' surgeries are done remotely now. Maine does not have the capability to bring this technology to our citizens. And ignoring this only pushes us further behind. As far as education goes, the robust fiber networks are bringing education to students, workers, elderly, and other states. that have these networks. And distance learning is one of the fastest growing businesses. Now, my son wanted to go back to school up in Orono, and we went to Bangor and hooked him up with the adult ed thing so he could take a couple courses to brush up. And guess what? They said you can do it at home. We said, great. Guess what? Drive 20 miles every day back and forth just to go into Bangor to be able to access remedial kind of or a prerequisite kind of a course. It makes it very hard to and very costly for us not to be able to have these streaming video capabilities, which is what the broadband fiber offers us. Seniors is a problem in our state. We are probably the oldest population in the country, and an average nursing home costs something like $5,000 a month. So having robust fiber networks allow seniors to stay in their home longer where they really want to be. Fiber to our homes provides remote monitoring for human interaction via Skype and other technologies by relatives and medical professionals. These fast networks could bring entertainment, education, interaction, health diagnosis, increasingly quality of life, and reduce the burden on nursing homes and medical facilities. This guy says his 102-year-old grandmother still lives in her home of 80 years in New Harbor, Maine by herself, due in large part due to remote Skype monitoring system that checks on Nanny from time to time, and it allows her to watch her granddaughter conduct her school concert at least 4 hours away from her home. Now, this system doesn't work all the time because it's partly satellite, but it would be very, very reliable were it to be broadband. Maine, as I said, is 50th in the nation business friendly. According to Forbes magazine, 49th is in likely economic improvement in 2014, according to USA Today, and is 49th in broadband access and speed, according to the Pew Research study. States across the nation are building fiber networks and reaping the rewards of this. Chattanooga, Tennessee, we've got 7,000 jobs from a new Volkswagen plant that moved there in large part to the fact that they provide fiber to homes and businesses. They needed the city to provide the fast network, but also to attract the young engineering workforce that's demanding these networks. There are over 1,000 engineering jobs in Maine right now, and we don't have people to fill them. If we don't have the ability for them to work from home, to communicate and download the big files and the things that they need to work with, they can't really work well in our state. It's my opinion that we need to expand the broadband fiber optic very much like we did with our rural electrification program. It's not just a choice between which TV stations you want to carry. This is something that is going to connect us to everything, and the further out we get, the more remote we are, the more important it is for us to be able to have those things. So I kind of like to see if we can develop some interest in finding out where it actually is, and maybe getting some petitions going and contacting the servers and seeing what we can do. There are still a great many, there are millions of dollars available from Connect Maine, USDA, the Connect America Fund, and TIF funding. So there's money out there to get it done if we want to really work on it. And I think our kids deserve it. I think our seniors deserve it. I think getting the cottage industries going, allowing people to have access to this so they can move out to this nice community would be the way to go. So any thoughts or ideas along those lines, I'd be happy to hear from you, and maybe we can try to get something going. While I have a chance, I'm going to steal this time. I'm a member of the Maine Military Community Network, which is a pretty new operation going, and there is, one of the things I want to push is more apprenticeships so kids don't go into debt for their educations. But if you have a military ID, and you can maybe get certified as an electrician, plumber, stationary, steam engineer, boiler, oil, propane, natural gas, or solid fuel technician. And I posted that up on the outside wall. So if you have a military ID, know somebody who's got some skills that maybe should be certified for, that would be a good way to go. And I've taken up your time.
And Teresa, the town office has your contact information if anyone is interested in contacting you, I believe.
Yeah, so if we can get anybody interested in something like that, I think it'd be great.
Teresa, I
Yeah.
heard Fairpoint is coming out our way, at least Route 9. I know those side roads will, but this summer I was
I'm right on Route
promised.
9, and I've been asking for 7 years, and the customer service people say every 6 months, we'll be out with there within 6 months to a year, and the last time I talked to them was just a couple months back, and they said, I spoke to the engineers who told me there's no plans to expand to where I live.
Oh, well, I'm right across from Chick Hill Road,
I-
and
If it comes that way,
And
I'm
they
just gonna
promised
jump
me
up
this
for
summer
joy,
I'd
because
have
I'd love to have it, but for instance, Washington County certainly doesn't have, most of it doesn't have it. A chunk of our Maine doesn't have it, so it's something to work on.
Fairpoint is out here already, that's, I believe as far as 180, yeah, it is, I have Fairpoint.
oh, to 180,
Someone
yeah.
told me it might go as far as the Clifton Church.
Goes to the lane.
Oh, it
I'm
is
not
almost
sure.
in the middle lane, so it's getting there, but,
Yeah, but like I said, I've been there 7 years.
yeah. Oh, John, sorry.
I just had a question on this. I believe last summer there was someone looking into, have you communicated to her about that?
Mr. Barney, who owns Premium Choice Broadband, he was in and I talked to him, and they were just running new fiber lines, the hydro, so I'll call him tomorrow and let him know, see where he's at with talking to them.
There's no sense to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
If
Right.
there's a business already going
Right.
forward with it.
Right.
Agreed.
Better to help them.
Yep. All right, next is Denise Pond.
I just want to know how to get a slower speed limit sign on the road, if
Um,
that's possible.
was that one of the roads that the state looked at for a speed limit? And was it 25?
I believe it was 25 when they're done.
And what did they say about children's sign? Is that up to us?
That's up to us, those signs.
And there was one at the end, Route 9, and I don't know if that's still there.
There's still another one too, I think where the dirt meets the tar, slow for children, it's like a yellow sign.
And are you looking for one going up Bobcat or down, or both?
Well, both would be better, but is it possible to get the speed limit slower than 25?
We had the state come out just recently and inspected various roads in town and gave us a suggestion on what the speed limit should be. We tried to get Scotts Point down further, down to 25, and from 9 until the pond area, it's 35, they suggested, and then 25 from there on. I think 25 is the lowest
Okay.
they suggest. And I know that's fast on some roads.
And we're still waiting back for the state to give us the okay to do
To
the
post them,
change.
because we can't actually post them until we get the approval for a speed limit.
Right.
But for the slower children, we can.
We can
Just-
those.
Yeah.
We can just do those.
Yeah.
I just make a comment that if we are gonna put new signs up, we ought to wait until the ground's a little softer
Yeah.
and, make it easier for Ed, but.
That's when the traffic picks up too, because I think they use that path to go to Mill Lane from the Bobcat.
So it's not just automobiles then?
Right, well, there's people wheelers and other stuff that go down, but it's like Frank, he goes slow already, it's people I think that don't live down there. Well, some people live down there, they still just fly right on by. Kids on bikes, people walking dogs, they go for
We've
it.
had the issue for a while.
I'll make a motion that we put up a couple signs, the children, slow children.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Opposed?
We ought to
I will tell you,
figure out where they're going.
yeah, it probably won't help, but
I know.
'Cause I don't know where the children are.
we're not promising you anything. What we'll probably do is have Ed go up and look and see where the best spot is
Okay.
to put them, you think? Is that all right?
Sure, I'll meet with her, anytime she wants to give you an idea where you'd like to have it, see if we can put it.
Okay. So can you give Ed my number, whenever he's ready, just call me, I'll meet with you.
You can call me anytime at 843-5593.
Okay.
There's an answering machine there, if I'm not there, I'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you, Ed.
I don't have no computers, no other crazy cell phones, I get none of that.
All right.
They got chickens.
Do you have anything else for us?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Stephanie Drew.
I wish to address my concerns over your recent vote to eliminate the public comment section from your monthly selectmen meeting agendas. I think that this vote sends the wrong message to citizens. If you are interested in feedback and open communication between citizens and officials of the town, then there must be a better procedure for citizens to follow to allow them to air their grievances and or offer feedback. Current procedures allow citizens to be included on the agenda to discuss an issue. However, we must anticipate the need to speak by the Friday before the Wednesday meeting. If I wanted to speak about an issue that was discussed tonight, to follow your procedure, I would be required to wait a month and get on the agenda by the Friday before the next meeting. This is simply not practical, nor does it encourage input from the public. I attended your last meeting in January, and at the end of that meeting, Julie asked those of us in attendance if we had anything we wanted to say. That shows that you are open to hearing from the public. What concerns me about having no scheduled public comment section of your monthly meetings is what guideline that sets for future boards. The precedent that you have set leaves citizens of the future no voice if those in charge are not as gracious as to allow us that right to speak. On a similar note, the elimination of the citizen concern forms is another avenue for feedback that you've just voted to eliminate. I understand there was one circumstance of fraudulent behavior that led to this decision. There must be a way to circumvent the fraudulent behavior without eliminating this avenue altogether. Other feedback I heard from the board on these forms included people not stating their concerns in a clear manner and not being present at the meetings in which you discussed their concerns. These problems stem from a lack of communication between the town and the citizens. Citizens must be aware of the process in order to take part in it. If you adopted a standard procedure for dealing with the concern forms and informed those submitting forms what that process is, I am sure you will find that the citizen concern forms will be much more effective for everybody. There must be a consistent flow of information from this office to the people. I signed up to receive emails to get information concerning the town. This is a positive step toward getting people more involved in their town. However, the flow of information has been inconsistent. I do not always receive a reminder of an upcoming meeting. The meeting notifications I have received do not always include a copy of the agenda. Last Thursday, when I asked to see an agenda, I was told that it could be picked up or faxed, but not emailed, because of a complaint about the scanned files not being ADA compatible. Isn't it possible to email the agendas to those who wish to receive it and have copies available for those who cannot access it through their email? With regards to the agendas, pertinent information on the agenda should also be included. For example, if a citizen is on the agenda to present a letter to the board, shouldn't the letter be included with the agenda? I know in other towns the agendas are sent out as a booklet with all subsequent information included. The more your citizens are informed, the more they will be involved in the town's business. Unless this is not the result that you are looking for, you need to allow free access to information, not just pick and choose what and when to give it out. I came across this statement from the Municipal Research and Services Center of Washington, and I thought it was very true. The public, this is a quote, the public evaluates the performance of its elected officials to a great extent by what happens at meetings. Many citizens form their total opinions of the city government on the basis of having attended just one council meeting. This is the time to impress citizens favorably and show them that the council is capable of doing its job. End quote. You have a duty to listen to all those you serve, no matter how uncomfortable or inconvenient it is to listen to what they have to say.
How long you lived in this town then?
Just over 1 year.
I've been around here a lot longer than that. To get people to come to these meetings was next to impossible. I've been on the select board for 12 years. I raised my right hand and said I'd take care of anybody and everybody, and I don't care who they are. I don't like that comment you just made.
About what?
About we don't take care of people. We take care of people.
I didn't say you didn't take care of people.
That's what it sounded like to me.
Well, I'm sorry you misinterpreted it that way, but that's not how I was trying to come across at all.
No, but I mean, to say that we don't have meetings, we don't take care of people,
I didn't say that though.
I
I just think that having a public comment section on the agenda is an important,
yeah, we
Thing
had
that
we
all towns
had all
have.
that stuff, and they didn't show up lately.
but that doesn't matter. I'm here.
It doesn't, yeah, well, sure, you're a brand new person here, I'm glad to see it. Well, so I didn't see you, are you saying you've been around here for a year? You've only been around here a few meetings as far as I've seen you. I'm glad to see you. I like participation by the public.
Great.
You know.
Well,
I come from a town where we had 185,000 people that would have 10,000 people in these meetings. So, I mean, I know what meetings are all about.
we also came from another small town, Carmel, and it was the same way.
I've lived in small towns too.
Well, it was the same way over there, and it's not, it's not anything you've done. It's the fact that society just doesn't really pay attention
So
anymore.
now you don't like my friend, you come from Carmel?
Well, I'm actually originally from Camden, but my husband and I first lived in Carmel, and then we moved here. I never said I didn't like anybody in Carmel. Actually, I was very involved on the comprehensive plan committee over there in the school
Well, I
board.
mean, to say that, some of the stuff that we initiated since I've been around here just didn't work, so we did away with it.
Well,
Now, people wanna have it done back again?
if no one's here to make a public comment, then you guys can all go home early. I just think that it should be on every agenda.
Oh, well,
We, go ahead, Nancy.
We've never refused anybody to speak at any of our meetings, ever, that I know of. The reasoning behind not having the comment
Citizen concern form.
concern form at the office, and then we get it at our meetings, it just didn't work. Because we didn't see it until the night of the meeting. Somebody might have left it 3 weeks before that. It would have been much nicer if they had called one of us and told us what their problem was, and then we could have known ahead of time and told them, please come. So what we're trying to do is to get people to communicate with us, not just to come in and sign a piece of paper and stick it in a box and have us pick the box open the night of the meeting and find them.
And even worse than that, have them not here.
And
Well,
then
but
they're
like
not here, so then we have to follow up and get them here. So it might be another month before we ever get to talk to them.
If they
What we
sign
would
the
like to
form.
have them do is make contact with us.
Well, and
If they
that's
have
why
one,
I laid out suggestions on communicating with the people submitting forms, that they will be discussed at the next meeting, and that if you want to be here to discuss it, that you should be here. But I think the problem when in a few instances that I know of, the people didn't realize that they had to be here, or they didn't know what step
If they
was
come in
next.
and they just fill the form out and stick it in the box.
Well,
then
but the form
it's
itself isn't what you should do away with. What you should try to refine is the procedure to follow after that form is submitted. And I'm sure people would like to contact you directly, but there is only one email that I can contact you by. And I would, I have suggestions for you if
we
the
all
town
have
email,
emails and we all have phone numbers.
but they're not public. I can't get a hold of you other than by to email the town of Clifton.
You can get hold of us anytime you want to.
I actually asked
Oh, you have
Debbie to
to
give
ask-
you my number the other day.
My telephone
Ask
number's
about
always
that.
been public.
And
It's always
somebody-
been in the book.
Right.
Look the name up, I'm the only John Williams in Clifton.
I have never had a problem I've never had a problem to come take to you guys. All my concern is, and like I said with Julie, you guys have always been open to hearing from us. I have no problem with that. The problem that I have is having it not on the agenda. The future boards might not be so gracious, and that is a concern to me.
Some of the past boards may not have been as gracious.
Exactly.
But, that's what democracy is, and that's how it works. And if people aren't happy with who's on the board, they get new people on the board, then they go in a different direction. And that's the way it works.
But that's why the
But
public comment
As far as
section,
our phone numbers are concerned, they're in the town report. I'm sure you can ask the girls, they'll give you any of our phone numbers. My phone is in the book,
Mine is.
Ed's is, John's is, we're all listed in the phone book.
like I said, I have no problem with any one of you. My problem was with the fact that this is not a part of your regular meetings. It sets a precedent, and in the future, we don't know who will be sitting on that board. And I think that that is a very important piece that needs to be on every agenda of every meeting. Because if something came up tonight and I wanted to comment on it, and you guys didn't allow public comment, I would have to jump through hoops to get to talk about something that happened a month ago.
Knowing the people in this town, if there was anybody in this room tonight, no matter who the board is up here, that wanted to speak and the board said no, the people in this room would make sure that they were allowed.
But how do we know that that's gonna be the same way in 10 years or 20
You
years?
don't know. You never know.
But that's why it should
But these
be a
people
part
that
of
live in
your
this town are
agenda.
all gonna move.
The quickest
And
way
all-
to solve
all
your
going somewhere
problem
else.
is to run for selectman.
I asked.
Good, good.
On the
They're not
ballot.
going someplace else. These people are gonna be here. They've been here for years.
I know, but don't you guys aren't really getting what I'm saying. It's not you, it's the fact that the meeting should have that on it for all people in the future.
I think you're very right, Stephanie, but I think the part that's difficult is coming into observing the board and what we're doing now. There's a legacy that comes forward that perhaps you're privy to or you're not. Never was comments, never was citizen concern. The select board voted it in eons before I ever moved to this town. So when it became an issue with us, and this one in the last recent months wasn't just an isolated incident. We've had several, many of them, that becomes leg time for these girls to track down, make sure people come. Everybody's aware that if you fill out a citizen concern form, it has to be addressed. We've asked that people come, we've established that to happen, chose not to come. So it's kind of a futile effort to try to do something, have it resolved in a timely fashion, not have it 10 months behind us, 2 months ahead of us or whatever. So we just made a decision that let's take it off. Many town meetings don't even allow public speaking, period. We choose
That's
not.
rare.
It is rare, but it
Not
does
many towns
happen.
around here
I
don't
know, I
have
agree,
that.
I agree, but it does happen, and we don't choose that to happen.
And you don't have any legal obligation to have the
That's
public
right.
comment, and I understand that.
That's right, but the portion of what we're doing as a board is we made a decision to take it off. Do we take off public comments? Absolutely not. We've decided, we have honored those and will continue to honor those.
And actually, in our rules of procedure that we are working on, number 6 is public access will be included at the end of the agenda. Any
Okay.
person in attendance that wishes to comment on the business conducted at the board meeting may address the chair. And I only have one page here.
That's all I was asking for.
Yeah.
I just want it on the
I know.
paper so that anybody in that board will honor that right,
And
not
that was
just,
discussed at our last
Okay.
meeting, at this meeting, and a decision was made to finalize it tonight with that in mind, that there would be a place for public access, so
And we did
that I
take,
certainly agree with you.
we did take off the citizen concern form and asked that
Yeah.
if you want to speak or be on the agenda, that you would request that.
great. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Did I overstep you again?
No, you guys are fine.
Any other comments? All right, Eric Johns.
Just to, actually quickly,
Oh, I don't want to talk.
an alibi.
Hang on just 1 second. I did want to address the ADA thing. We had, Deb had called me before you had emailed her and said that we had a complaint about the scanning may not be compatible, ADA compliant. So we did have her check with MMA, which is why we did not send anything out by attachment until we heard back from MMA. And we have their response. Let's see.
But just because one person couldn't receive that, I mean, lots of people don't have email either, but yet I'd still like to see it because Thursday when I got that, I was luckily at work, I could have it faxed, it was snowing on my way home.
But what if we did send that out to everyone and then we got sued because it wasn't ADA compliant? You know, we had to check.
The same request came that they, everybody's emails, this one person wanted them blocked. So we had to do that for that person, which is fine, we don't have a problem doing that. This request came, we were gonna check it out with Maine Municipal to get, guidance from them, if we were in compliance or not. So there's like 6-page response.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So,
This town doesn't need any more
No.
lawsuits. We're here
So
to
that's
try
the
to do
thing.
things correct. I'm not gonna say we're doing everything right, but we're gonna at least try.
So there is, without reading all of this right now.
we are
so-
fine.
We are fine to send it out this
Yes.
weekend, okay.
Okay.
So,
If you don't have
wonderful,
the
we
whole
found
6
that
pages.
out.
municipal offices don't fall under that. So,
As soon as the select board comes up with the procedure, we're gonna just adopt the same one. Instead of having, we just make sure everybody has the same procedure, and I know over the years it's been a little different for each one. So as soon as they're done, then we're gonna adopt it, so everybody will be the same for everybody. What I'm here to talk about tonight is, and there's been like a lot of discussion about it, actually kind of started last summer, when there was gonna be a Bluff Fest at Eagle Bluff, and that was going to be like a music event over there, and it was going to be run by Don Nelligan, who was the late Don Nelligan, who was the property owner over there. And at the time, he was actually kind of working towards trying to get this thing permanently in the public domain to be permanently publicly accessed. And then he died in his garage of a heart attack all of a sudden, and then just a week after he died, completely unexpectedly, his father, who was in the hospital, died as well. So the Nelligan family didn't have, the best of falls. So anyway, in the midst of all that, I became aware of what was going on, and I had several meetings with Maine Coastal Heritage Trust, and we talked about it in the planning board throughout the fall, and try to come up with ways that we could potentially get that parcel. And we worked with Maine Coast Heritage Trust, Simon Ulbrich, and in a nutshell, after working back and forth, they're not in a position to buy this parcel outright, which is I was kind of hoping they would be picked up. And just Maine Coastal Heritage Trust's actual most westerly boundary just happens to be the most westerly side of Clifton. And that's only because back in the Coastal Zone Management Act, Clifton was the most westerly town included, and that's what their mission is the Coastal Zone Management Act communities. So anyway, that's how we ended up even being able to work kind of with Siona, and that's what she's used to work with us. So then we tried to work with people at the University of Maine and pull that together, and that wasn't going as well because it was mostly college kids and stuff like that. And so then we got a hold of Access Fund. Now, Access Fund is a mountain climbing organization. It's a nationally renowned mountain climbing organization, and they help buy and preserve properties for mountain climbing and all over the United States. And I got Siona working with them to work back and forth, and we got the Nelligan family to commit to a price of $125,000 to buy the parcel, and then we added on another $25,000 to do all the other title work and expand the parking lot over there, get the thing property marked, and all the other sort of administrative things that you need to do to get the thing going publicly. And I forwarded you, I think you have, the select board has with you tonight, the purchase option agreement that we got that Access Fund did graciously. Now, Access Fund has done a ton of work on this that they're eating right now as far as what their time and resources and effort are. There's an article, maybe some of you might have seen in the Bangor Daily News, you can maybe toss a couple of those around, last week about this. Oh, okay, you already have that one then. All right, so anyway, what I was here to do tonight, the best, in my view, the best way to option for the town would be if the town owned it and it was a town park. And it happens to be in Maine, towns are protected by law from liability for owning parks, much like ski resorts are protected from liability. If you go to a ski resort and you get hurt at a ski resort, you're on your own. There's nothing in the ski resort. You can't sue a ski resort for getting hurt skiing at a ski resort. You can't get sued as a municipality by having a park and people get hurt on your park. So it's just the way the laws are in Maine. Maine is like the best state in the whole United States for laws protecting municipalities for parks. And one of the things just like Trez brought up back there, you talked about, there's more than one game going on than wind turbines or whatever. Okay, well, if we a lot of things that we have talked about over the years is building a recreational base here in the community for, to get people to come to Clifton to do different things. And this is an opportunity for people, to participate, and try to have a base or a benchmark property to kind of get launch sort of what we want to do, being more of a recreationally based community and promote recreational tourism. And we're only a few miles outside of Bangor. Now, Access Fund already has put up a website And I'd like to, hopefully after, I go through a couple more little items tonight that I'd like the board to kind of speak to, I'd like to be able to do things like with the, included with the town's name, post on the planning board website the link to the Access Fund website where you can go to and donate money. But I don't want to associate, promoting the town donating money without the town's permission. I just, working for the government, I know that you're not supposed to do things like that on your own, even if you think it's a good idea. But anyway, I want to be able to do things like that. So far, though, right on the Access Fund, just advertising at the University of Maine, and they had like a little film festival a few weeks ago. They've already raised close to $5,000 towards buying it, just like, with really not a lot of publicity. And also, somebody has committed to matching funds. So if we raise like $50,000, somebody is committed, I think we'll come up with another $50,000. So there's a lot of effort going on in background to do it. And in addition to that, Siona Albrecht, as busy as she is, she actually today she emailed me, this application. And even though the Land for Maine Futures due date was already closed, the Land for Maine Futures people said that they would be willing to take these applications all the way through, I think sometime into March. And she went ahead and they even did a proposed budget for us, on the Maine Coast for Land Futures thing. So Siona Albrecht, without, again, all taking money out of the Maine Coast Heritage Trust, who pays her salary and her time, worked on this for us and the Access Fund collectively. And so we've been sharing emails, and I forwarded a lot of those emails to the town. If anybody wants to go get them, they're happy to go get them from Debbie. So tonight, what I would like to have happen, and actually the planning board, to go back a little bit more, in December, we did vote, the planning board, endorsed the idea of pursuing some sort of town involvement with it. Obviously we didn't commit funds, we just put our thought behind the planning part of it. From a planning perspective, we feel that it's an important piece from the planning board perspective to have some involvement with this parcel. So what I was hoping for the select board to do was to promote the donations, to participate in any advertising and promotional efforts, provide access to this facility, this building, and to let us use the Facebook and the planning board websites to promote donating to the Eagle Bluff project. I'd like to assign one select board member as a co-project officer with me to work and study this, so that we're working hand in hand and not having to go back and forth as much. I'd like to study the options to own or provide financial support long-term to ensure the permanent public access to the site. So we can, whatever, we just study it, so it comes out, we can look at all the different options, whether we should own it, whether we should just provide money to it and try to find somebody else to own it, like the Forest Stewardship Foundation, or I think there's a couple other ones in town that already own some conservation parcels in town, so maybe one of them could pick it up. Now the only thing is that different conservation organizations have different criteria for ownership, and so what this co-person on the select board and I would do is to go through and just make sure that we had, reported out, all the different options, so that people in town could know as we go forward to make a decision on how we should best go about doing it. And hopefully maybe in the end, if we decide to go ahead and fund it, to study the possibility of putting some kind of a bond on the June ballot, because that would give us time to adequately, research all the different options and publish the things, have the public hearings that are necessary in order to set up for, to set up like a little bond issue for the town. And we'd have a little bit better idea for how much money we would want to put into it, and then all the different contingencies, like if we couldn't come up with the whole $150,000 and the Nelligans would back out of it on August 1st of 2014, which is if we don't have a deal in the makings by August 1st, it's going to go away. Then we'd have those contingencies obviously worked out by June as well. So that's kind of what I was hoping for from the board tonight, subject to your questions.
All right, I was going to ask if any, John, go ahead.
So the money that's already been donated has been donated to Access?
Correct.